I really, really, really love that song. Hello, I'm O Speaks. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, share the video. Let's see who we got in here. What's going on? Uncle L. That's actually Jay Dilla. Uncle L, True Essence, Miss Just J, how you doing? Clara Booker, how you doing? How you doing? Who else was in here? I think I saw somebody else in here. That may be it for now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to talk about the peaceful protesters who continue to riot in Los Angeles. Um, I have a video. I really want to do the video. I want to put it out, but this is a little bit more urgent because it's still happening. What's going on, G Will? G Will is back. That's an inside joke. He changed his name and then didn't realize if you keep changing your name that YouTube will not allow you to change it for 14 days. So he got stuck with a really, really, really awkward name. Paul Thomas, how you doing? It's Just Jay. Hope you had a great, great, great time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. So yeah, I want to talk about these riots. This is not what it looks like. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. They're trying to make it seem as if he's doing this. I don't even know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say he's infringing on state rights. The border is a federal issue. If people are protesting ICE, they are protesting a federal organization. If people gather around an ICE facility, that is a federal facility. So he has every right to put the National Guard to protect the federal facility. Not just that, why wouldn't a mayor or a governor want to protect their citizens? And we're going to go over what's really going on in California, and we're going to get right into it. I put my links, if you can scroll up. I don't know if you can scroll up, but I put my Rumble link, I put my YouTube link, I put my X link, I put my Cash App link. If you would like to donate, I will never say no. As guilty as I may feel sometimes, I would never do that. I appreciate everything that I've gotten so far. It has advanced my channel in many, many, many ways. Whether you see them or not, I've genuinely put everything right back into this channel. So without further ado,
President's executive order and the administration's views on Title IX regarding boys playing girls' sports. And I'll give you a third.
And what this is a couple of weeks ago, Trump said he's going to start pulling funds from sanctuary cities. California was actually a whole sanctuary state. What's going on, Ms. Hakimi? So what he did was he started saying, you know what? Why is federal money going to places that are refusing to follow federal law? So that's what this conversation is. And then we're going to lead into the city of Los Angeles. What's going on, Jason? How you doing, sir? We're going to lead into what's going on now, but I want to this is what's really going on. They are mad that Trump will not fund anti-federal law cities and states. And that's what this is all about.
Third one that's breaking tonight, the mayor of Los Angeles is saying she's not going to cooperate with the Department of Homeland Security and ICE as they try to round up illegal aliens. And so you have a state right now being run by a bunch of people who do not want to comply with clear federal law and clear federal mandates, and somebody needs to confront them. The president is doing it.
Do you really think that this is the best way, this blunt object
Yes.
that is both personal and political, is the way to force California's hand on this? The confrontation is Donald Trump saying, adopt MAGA values or I'm going to punish you by taking federal dollars away.
It's not MAGA values to eradicate anti-Semitism. It's not MAGA values to protect girls.
You're picking
It's not
issues.
MAGA values to deport illegal aliens. It's just American law and American values.
And Donald Trump doesn't
I'm
care about
not disagreeing
anti-Semitism.
with your issues with California. I don't think this is the right way to do it. And I think 5 or 6 years ago, you wouldn't have either. Because you also believed in conservatism.
I don't know about
right.
I couldn't have imagined.
I don't know about
doing
5 or
crazy
6
things
years
like
ago.
that.
I would.
I'm in downtown LA, Skid Row, and I want to point out a few things that's gone on here in the past few years.
Listen
in
to this.
2023, Gavin Newsom set aside $750 million to build tiny homes for people just like this that are surrounding by me. Somehow that money's gone. In 2019, they set aside $24 billion to go towards the homeless. Somehow that money's gone. It's unaccounted for. I want to talk.
$24 billion plus $750 million in a 4-year span disappeared in the state of California. So what's going to end up happening right now? We have these riots, right? And we'll get to that. I promise you, we'll get to that. What's going to happen immediately after it gets resolved, or these Antifa people get tired, is, or the National Guard and Marines put an end to all this nonsense. What's going to happen is then Gavin Newsom is going to claim state of emergency. Oh my gosh, look at what happened to the city. And then what that means is they will be requesting federal funds. So anyone who says this is none of our business as far as worrying about whether or not these people are protesting peacefully or rioting is full of it, because we're going to have to pay for it at the end of the day. This is what they want. And if he can't handle the money that was supposed to go towards his own homeless problem, why would we give them more money? We saw what happened during the fires. That was all preventable. That was under Gavin Newsom. So now here he is. This is the state of Los Angeles, second largest city in the country. This is the bloodline of his state. They're in San Francisco. But the Mayor Bass is, listen, what's happening there is 100% on Californians. They voted, people in Los Angeles voted in Bass. They get what they deserve. People in California had a recall election for Gavin Newsom, and they had options, and they chose to keep him there. So whatever they get, they get. We have no business funding this. And what's going to happen, again, is he's going to try to declare a state of emergency and get our funds. What Trump's saying is, no more. We're not doing this anymore for you. I almost guarantee if there's a natural disaster, we would provide funds. But when it comes to stuff like this that's completely preventable, this makes no sense.
About a few politicians from here. One is Nancy Pelosi. She's been serving these people since 2007. Her net worth is over 120 million. Another person here, Maxine Waters, she's been serving the people here in California since 1990. Her net worth is over $10 million. And Gavin Newsom, who knows what his net worth is, but we know he is building a $9 million home in San Francisco, California. Their leaders, the leaders of California, they failed these people here in Los Angeles and in California. California has actually been one of the highest states in America that people have fled from. Over 66 million people have left California in the last few years, and yet Gavin Newsom, he's out there holding a podcast when he should be working on his state. He might be making a run for it in 2028, and I hope people remember this that's behind me.
And that's what he's doing. He's planning a run for president. So everything he says and everything he does is very intentional. But he's all about optics. He wants to make it look like he's a strong leader. And I'm going to show him in a little bit. You're going to see how big of a loser that guy is. It's all talk. Zero action. But how can he afford a $9 million home? How does Maxine Waters get $10 million when in a full life of public service? What's really going on here? Nancy Pelosi, over $100 million, and all she's ever done was work in Congress? How is that possible? Well, we know about her. She's the world's greatest investor, history's greatest investor in stocks. It has nothing to do with having pre-knowledge by passing laws and gearing things towards different sectors in which she has knowledge of and the ability to invest. I'm not gonna go there. If there was ever insider trading, that is Nancy Pelosi. That should be her middle name. All right, so again, we're going over what's going on in California right now. This California lawmaker wants to decriminalize welfare welfare fraud up to $25,000. This is something similar that they did during COVID and during the BLM riots, where they said, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of people stealing. We probably shouldn't even arrest them if it's under $1,000. She wants to do that over welfare fraud. Who funds welfare? The state, the citizens of California. Who wins? No one. No one wins outside of thieves. This is what they do. It's like, what are we doing? And how does this get any steam behind it? Yeah, that's a great idea. These are the same people that I showed. It was my last slide. These are the same people who voted down a law because it criminalized. Actually, no, it didn't. It stiffened the terms on people who would solicit underage teenagers for sex. They didn't like that. Well, whoa! Why do we need to stiffen the sentencing? This is California. This is who they are. It's who they'll always be. And one of the great things about Scott Jennings on CNN is he points this stuff out. And this is just who they.
Everyone deserves health care.
Even illegals?
Every single person in the world deserves
Just for the record,
person.
as a candidate, you're for illegal aliens getting Medicaid.
I think everyone in the world deserves
That's a
health
yes.
care.
That's a yes.
I'm such a
That's a
positive.
Democratic
I mean,
position.
it is a yes, but I mean,
It's a Democratic
Everyone in the
position.
world
Illegal
deserves
aliens should
healthcare.
get Medicaid.
But I mean, I mean,
How is this
I mean,
controversial?
I don't. But
How is it controversial?
How is it controversial that they don't want someone to die in the hospital because they can't afford
Who do you
it?
think pays for health care when undocumented people show up at a hospital? Who pays for that?
We all pay for it.
Exactly.
including
I mean, we all
undocumented
pay
people
for
because
it.
they actually contribute.
That's the point. That's the point.
We do realize that undocumented
Who pays for the well?
The black dude said they actually contribute. How do you know if they're illegal? How do you know what they do? You have no idea. There's zero ability to track a person who's illegal. That's what makes them illegal. You don't know what identity they're using. You don't know what social security number they're using. How can he just assume that they contribute? He's just saying that because it sounds good. He's an emotional arguer. And just wait till the end of this clip. Woo! This guy, he tries it, and we're gonna get to a point that Kwame Brown made earlier, where this is not our fight. Black people, black people. This is not our fight. Don't let them bait us into this nonsense. It's what they want. It's what they need, actually. Oh, there was a picture I was supposed to put in here of some people that were marching, and it said something about black trans fought for our civil rights or something like that. They gotta put us into the mix. Why? Because we're compassionate. We have empathy. We understand this has nothing to do with us. This is not the same as the civil rights movement. This is people who are not supposed to be here, trying to be here. And they will be replacing you in your neighborhoods and your jobs and your kids in school. That's what this is.
Welfare system in this country generally. Taxpayers. Are you for it or not?
Can I start my logic train?
Are you for it or not?
My logic train starts with
Just-
the fact
just
that
say
I don't
yes.
want to kick 11 million people off
Do you
of
want
Medicaid.
the illegal aliens on or not?
Do I want first of all, do I want
Can't
undocumented citizens to
Just
have
say
health care?
yes.
The answer is yes.
Scott,
Okay.
if someone is
More
undocumented,
Democrats.
do you want them to not get insulin if they're diabetic?
I want Medicaid to exist first and foremost for American citizens who need it. That is what I
What about
want.
second? How about this? When the people that are
passionate.
picking your peaches. Yeah, I'm passionate
Very
about
passionate
Americans.
for the illegals.
The picking your peaches argument is an argument for modern day slavery. Who's going to pick your fruit for substandard wages and for below minimum wage? So he's literally, every time you hear somebody talk about that, who's going to pick the crops? Your food prices are going to go out. How is that not racist? He's literally calling for slavery. This is what we need. How else can we get underpaid, borderline slave wages to people to get fruit? Really? That's your argument. Sounds like the old cotton picking argument. Literally, that's the same argument. Who's going to pick our cotton? And here this man is a black man making the argument for Hispanic people. It's incredible.
No, I'm passionate for
How
Americans.
dare you want people to be alive? How dare you?
Passionate for the illegals. Bring more.
No, I actually want
But yes,
safe and secure borders.
You need more. To make your vision of America work, we need more illegals who get more benefits. That's your version of America.
No, what I want from America is a place that was promised to us, Scott.
To the illegals?
Like you do. No, it was promised to us. It was promised to us,
who?
not us, me and you, black and white, brown.
There
Scott,
it
do you
is.
think that your family was
You were
born
born
here?
here.
You weren't born here, Scott.
I was born in
First of all,
Boston
where does your family come from? My family wasn't born here. My family was actually from Sierra Leone.
You're making a passionate argument
correct
for a
about what
country
our
built on unfettered illegal immigration, and that is not
No,
anywhere
our
near
country,
a politically popular
Our
position.
country is built on immigration, period.
What kind?
Period.
What kind?
Oh, and first of all, before we go to commercial, what kind? What kind of immigration was I brought here?
You're already
with?
in the hole. You sure you want to stop
No,
digging?
because it was slavery. That's not immigration.
Come on.
Well, okay.
Come on, what?
All right, there's a lot to be said. Hold on.
No. But you just can't say "come on" when somebody's like, "My family was brought here in chains." The answer is not "come on."
So what he tried to do, he's asking what kind of immigration, because they always try to conflate legal immigration and illegal immigration. So instead of saying legal or illegal, he says slavery, which is why Scott Jennings said, "Oh, come on, what are we doing here? You're trying to conflate slavery with illegals being deported back to the criminal illegals being deported back to their countries." This is some of the benefits that illegal aliens get in the state of California. So they get access to emergency medical care, which debatable. I can understand. You don't tell somebody you can't get treatment if your arm gets run over by a car somehow, or you're trying to fix a car. I get that one. But I also get, okay, once you're better, you're deported. That would be my remedy to that. Yes, we have to treat. You can't turn somebody away at the emergency room, but as soon as you're better, you're gone. I have no issue with that. Right to legal counsel. If you're arrested by police or detained by ICE, individuals have the right to an attorney. Okay, that's fair. We got to make sure that they are in fact illegal. Although their status should be established, you should have ID. It still needs to go. I understand adjudication. I'm good with it. Protection from discrimination is a weird one. Undocumented immigrants are protected from discrimination based on various factors, including race, ethnicity, and national origin. I don't know how you, whatever. I don't understand that one. Workplace protections is a very interesting one, because they shouldn't be able to work. If you are illegal, how do you work? You don't have a social. How do you pay taxes? I mean, outside of going to the store and paying state taxes and sales taxes, how do you pay taxes? Whose social security number are you using? That is the number one crime in this country, is identity theft. I guarantee there's someone watching this, or someone who's going to watch this, who is a victim of identity theft. I had it happen to me. It takes a long time to get that off of you. I don't know what this bill is. I have no idea. Where did this happen? New Mexico. I've driven through New Mexico. I've never worked in New Mexico. This is the kind of stuff. So when you see workplace protections, how is that even possible? Protect from what? Undocumented workers have rights under state and federal wage and hour laws. Okay, the guy before this on CNN was saying, well, what about your fruit pickers? Do you really think they're getting paid according to our federal wage and hour laws? How do you know? How can you track that? They have no idea. They don't exist. They're ghosts. They also have rights to safe working environment and can file complaints with OSHA. So occupational safety and health somehow knows who these people are. How do they know who they are? How do you file a complaint? I don't like these work conditions. Are you supposed to be here? No. So how are you complaining to the government? Well, that's Cal OSHA, so that's just the state version of OSHA. It makes no sense. Public benefits, this is my favorite one. California provides certain, not all, certain public benefits to undocumented immigrants, including Medi-Cal for pregnant and postpartum individuals, WIC, so they're getting WIC, and free or reduced school meals. Undocumented children and teens under 19 are also eligible for Medi-Cal. So they get full medical and they get WIC benefits, which is welfare. All right. Why? I don't know why they can go to the store and get anything for free. But according to California, they deserve it. Based on what? I don't know. It makes no sense. They have a right to education. Now, I'm not one to say, if you're here illegal, you should not get education. But there are a lot of Americans here who homeschool, but there's a lot who can't do that. So they send their kids to public school, and guess who's there? English second language kids, if they speak English at all. And teachers have to take attention away from my son. my daughters or your kids and give extra attention to someone who's not supposed to be here. Undocumented students can access state-based financial aid and institutional scholarships at California colleges and universities. So they can get higher education here. Financial aid is given, grants are given to these people who are not supposed to be here. How do you track a grant for someone who has no ID? How is that possible? And they can go all the way from K to college. This is insane. How you doing, Ms. Trey? A right to a fair hearing and legal assistance. I agree with the right to a fair hearing. I don't understand legal assistance. Why? Who are you? Why do you get free legal aid? You're an illegal alien. People have the right to a fair hearing and legal assistance if facing deportation, including vulnerable populations, whatever that means. Okay. Again, going back to the first one and emergency rooms, I kind of get that one. I don't know how much. Well, what's the limit on this legal aid? Are these people donating their time? Is this pro bono? I have no issue with that. If it's state funded, I have an issue with it. Protection from unlawful searches and seizures. This one makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all. The government cannot enter your home or search your belongings without a warrant or probable cause. Probable cause is you're not supposed to be here. How did you sign a lease? Are you on a lease? What tax documents did you show that make you eligible for that apartment or for that home, for that mortgage? How is it possible? So the fact that you're not supposed to be here means you should be able to be raided, and that's what we're watching. But even with that, Tom Homan has said repeatedly, and ICE has said repeatedly that they don't just do that. These are all adjudicated already. Judges have already signed off on sending these people away. Most of them have already been declared to be deported. They should be gone. So what do? They go from state to state, city to city, scoop up these people who are already declared and they've already gone through the judicial system. They have to go. That's it. So I don't know how you get protection from unlawful searches and seizures when you're unlawful. But this is the state of California. This is what they fought for. Sanctuary policies, they have sanctuary laws that limit local law enforcement's cooperation with ICE. They don't deal with ICE. They don't cooperate at all. They don't share any data. And why that's important is if somebody's, all right, say I grab Trace Spectives and commit a robbery on Trace Spectives, right? Trace Spectives takes me to court. While I'm in court with Trace Spectives, local law officials should say, hey, ICE, this guy's not supposed to be here, and he robbed a United States citizen named Trace Spectives. And she's just trying to go through the system and get justice. What should happen is the police reach out to ICE and say, this person is violent. They robbed Trace Spectives. They need to go. Instead, what California does is they protect this person. They don't protect Trace Spectives because they don't believe Trace Spectives deserves the same protections that the robber does. So the robber does not get reported to ICE. So this is how you'll see illegal alien arrested 13 times, 14 times, 20 times. This is how it happens because they won't communicate with ICE. And we end up looking at Trace Spectives and saying, hey, you'll be all right. But a lot of people don't come out of these scenarios where they're getting robbed, they're getting R-worded, they're getting unalived. This happens regularly. This is not rare. Now, statistically, in a country of 350 million, obviously, it's not. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's not rare when you're looking at the overall scheme of things because they should not be here. So how are they committing crimes if they're not supposed to be here? One is too many. So unless the arrestee has been convicted of serious crime, so they have to go through the entire system and be convicted before California says, all right, ICE. But the fact that Trace Spectives told me that this guy robbed me and he's not supposed to be here, he should be deported. That's my opinion. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on here. But if you really look at apportionment and how they get these illegals here, and then they get them a driver's license, which we're almost at. They have the right to remain silent. That's fair. Individuals have the right to remain silent if approached by immigration officers or law enforcement. Okay, because they do need, they do have a right to an attorney. So that's fine. I have no issue with that one. Driver's license. That's my favorite one. California allows illegals to obtain state driver's license, though it will not be a real ID. That is an absolute lie. I've proved this several times during the election cycle. They absolutely, all they have to do, they're not allowed to show ID, but if they do, it's automatic. They don't even look at the ID. So what they started doing is they count every illegal alien and say, wait a minute. Miss Phoenix Rising, how you doing? Wait a minute. We have 10 million people in Los Angeles County. We need to spread our congressional seats, and we need better representation. Well, there's only 5 million on the books. Yeah, but well, look at all these people. Here's their licenses. We have proof that they're here. They need representation. And then that shifts the voting blocks. That's what this is all about. That's what it's always been about. This, and they want anarchy. I think this is the last one. They have access to crime reports. Even if they're illegal, victims of crime have a right to access their crime reports. Okay. I guess if I was robbed and I was illegal, I should be able to look at the report. I don't have an issue with that one. Individuals cannot be imprisoned in an immigration jail for prolonged periods without the opportunity for a hearing to seek release on bond. Okay, it still needs to be adjudicated. This is kind of redundant compared to some of the other things. I don't have as big of an issue with that one. Here's a group. This is phenomenal. They have a right to disability insurance and paid family. They can go on FMLA. Unpaid family medical leave. Illegal workers are eligible for disability insurance and paid leave benefits. So you get hurt picking a peach illegally, you can get paid by the state. They'll pay for it. Now that's kind of an insurance type of thing that goes through most employers. But what happens if you're on a farm and they don't have a corporation? State pays for it. Paid leave. Hey, my wife's pregnant. She's expecting. I did take a few weeks off. Sure, go ahead, do it. And take some family leave while we have a legal citizen that we're going to have that's going to anchor us. This is what we're looking at. This is insane. And they have a right to a fair hearing. Again, same thing. No one can be deported without a fair hearing and access to legal assistance. Again, redundant. I don't have an issue with that.
Earlier this morning, apparently a raid by ICE here at.
This is reporting by Channel 7. This is where we are today, or how we got to where we are today.
Earlier this morning, apparently a raid by ICE here at a business called Ambiance. Then a crowd started forming outside the perimeter. They started actually surrounding these buildings.
We have a piece of video. You can see that they've gotten the people and they put them in these vans. It was a very strange sight to see because they started to leave and there were people who were protesting, trying to keep these vans from getting out. And the video seen here is deeply troubling because these officers, look, there's that person in front. And the officers did not stop, these agents or whatever federal authorities they were. And notice how this person continued to stay in front. And the officer did not slow. No officer came out and tried to get this out. And then watch as the person in front falls and hits his head on the ground. And that just seemed like it was an injury. But then these agents then moved aside and then immediately took off. And we watched these agents almost as if it was a chase. They got together in the...
Almost as if it was a chase. It's almost as if they didn't see the 15 or 20 people chasing them. How about you don't run backwards in front of a car? This guy, the reporting, again, the media, the reporting is as if they weren't being chased. They're picking up people who are criminals and who have already had judgments against them to be deported. They're already on deportation orders. They're not supposed to be here. So why is there 15 people chasing a car?
Started to leave.
Look, it starts out. There's only 2 of them
who
there.
were protesting, trying to keep these vans.
If you're protesting, why are you chasing a car? That's not a protest. That is a threat. We've seen what happened before. We've seen all of this before. But watch how many people are chasing these. These are ICE cars.
From getting out.
Vehicles.
And the video seen here is deeply troubling because these officers, look, there's that person in front.
12.
And the officers did not stop these agents or whatever federal authorities they were. And notice how this person continued to stay in front. And
yeah, notice how he continued to stay in the front. Why not move? What are you doing in front of a car running backwards? Why should the ICE agent stop when he's got other people chasing their car? This is a threat. I would have just kept driving. All right, let me rephrase that. If I were in that situation and I didn't stop, I would expect to be fully exonerated because there's no situation where a person should be doing what they're doing, any of these people, especially as a federal agent.
Officer did not slow. No officer came out and tried to get this out.
Look at this.
And then watch as the person in front.
Now, right there. God, that's so fake. Right here, watch this guy by the driver's window. What is he doing? As he approaches, watch what he does to the driver's side window.
Or whatever federal authorities they were. And notice how this person continued to stay in front. And the officer did not slow. No officer.
He's going to come out of nowhere. There he is. Look at this guy. The guy right in front of the blue car next to the federal vehicle. Watch what he does to the driver's side door.
This out and then watch as the person in.
He literally was hitting the window. But to listen to the reporter, yeah, I don't know. Oh my God, the police officer, he didn't stop. He drove around as if he was being chased. He's literally being chased. What did you do? Stop until there's 6 people around the car so you can't move it without running people over? This is media. This is ABC News saying this.
Front falls and hits his head on the ground, and that just seemed like it was an.
These people are swarming the car, and they're swarming the car using the excuse that this guy fell because he was running backwards at about 5 miles per hour. Move. They have no responsibility to stop in this kind of situation. They're under threat. Direct threat. People are literally attacking the cars. This is insanity. If you stop and you're in a vehicle that's being chased, you are in danger. Why? Because you're being chased. Why are they chasing you? I don't know. There's a guy there's people beating on the car from every direction. Maybe they're after you. You don't have to wait to see what they do. You don't. Not only that, you're a federal employee. They have no right to do what they're doing. They don't.
Injury, but then these agents then moved aside.
They're picking up rocks.
And then immediately took off, and we watched these agents almost as if it was a chase. They got together in the caravan, and we watched as those agencies or those 3 vans went to the Roybal federal building where they took the people that they had detained. And that was the second caravan.
Large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way.
Again, listen to the reporting. It could get very volatile if you move law enforcement in. No, it's already volatile. That's why you move law enforcement in. But listen to the phrasing. Again, this is ABC. Again.
Turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into.
So this is a group of people watching cars burn. How did they get set on fire? Did they not get set on fire? They just burst into flames and people are having fun watching? This is a serious. This is local news. There's just people just having fun watching cars burn. We don't want to move police in the wrong way because it can cause problems. The cars are on fire. Listen to the language that they use to make it sound like, I don't know, police are bad.
Turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
This poor driverless car. I'm going to say this about these flags. These flags are driving me crazy. If you're in this country illegally and you're flying your home flag, I think that should be automatic deportation. I don't even think you need. If you're here illegally, you're not supposed to be here, and you're flying your flag over an American flag, you should be deported. You can be proud of where you come from, but if you're that proud, why are you here? Why are you here? Other than to send money back home? Go make your country great again. How about we do that? This flag thing really, really bothers me because they only do it when something here is under attack. I don't agree with it. And it does not get more anti-American. All right, so fireworks are illegal in Los Angeles County. I don't know about the whole state, but the reason fireworks are illegal because it's a very dry city. They were just on fire a year ago. I don't even know if it's been a full year yet. Malibu was just on fire. Los Angeles was just on fire. This right here should be a felony because the situation that they are in, they are literally endangering the entire area because of how dry it gets in California. It doesn't rain. That song, It Never Rains in Southern California, it's real. It's very rare. It doesn't happen. So when you're lighting things on fire intentionally and just randomly aiming Roman candles and other fireworks, you're literally putting everyone in danger. This is not like, we'll say if you were doing this in Florida. It wouldn't be good still, but what I'm saying is less flammable situation, literally. So they're just aiming. I accidentally well, it wasn't accidentally. I'm going to admit to a crime right now. Long time ago in Chicago, I was walking with a friend and he was being dumb. What he was doing was he was lighting matches and flicking them at me, right? And we're just walking and I move out the way. The match hits the lawn. It was like a, not really a lawn, it's more like a common area. But as soon as it hit the grass, went up in flames. And it took maybe 10 seconds for the entire lot to be burned. Gone. That's how California is when it comes to fires, which is why it's a big deal. You can't have people doing this. You can't do this. Peaceful, very, very peaceful. All right, everyone knows Maxine Waters. She's there, and she's going to say why she's there, and I'm going to show you why she's there.
Find out what is happening with David Huerta. He is one of our leaders in organized labor, head of a local SEIU union. I don't know why they picked him up. I don't know what they're going to do to him. I don't want them to deport him. I think that he is being targeted, but our city is being targeted because we're a sanctuary city. Trump hates us. He does not like this city. He's trying to intimidate, and he sent the guns in here on us. The governor didn't know anything about the National Guard coming here. He did it on his own. We can't be intimidated. We've got to get the people out. We've got to get the elected officials out. We've got to resist him. I'm going back out into the communities where ICE was last night to make sure people know that their elected officials are standing with them. Thank you.
What's your next step now?
I'm going out to Lenox and to Paramount, Watts, and South Central where they were last night to see if ICE is back out there.
How about a message for the community?
The community is don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid. Do what we did in the civil rights movement. Protest peacefully. Get out. Make your voices heard. The more people we're able to engage, the more we can push back on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't see this happening. I wish I wish this was possible. But everything compared to California is cheap. So when they come here to Texas, they can pay cash for a house. And especially if people who live in the Austin area, I feel really bad for them because it's more of a hilly terrain. Most places in West Texas are more hilly terrain, so it looks like Southern California without the dryness, without the extra taxes, and it's just cheap. It's just cheap. So they're not going to move anywhere like Alabama. I wish they would, but I don't see that happen. I share the sentiment because it's been happening here also in Houston, but they're getting so much money for their homes that they can buy homes here for cash, and get a lot more. So Maxine Waters made her way to the ICE facility, and look what happened.
Hello. Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on things.
Ma'am, we're logging securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public apparel.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Huerta. Right.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is happening here?
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Huerta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back to my caucus.
This is David Huerta, who is a labor leader, which is very interesting because, where is it? There it is. Why is he advocating for illegal immigrants in this country? And he's supposed to be advocating for American workers. This is the exact opposite of who he says he is. Local labor leader David Huerta to be arraigned on federal charges after an ICE raid. You're there supposedly an advocate for employees in the state of California, and you're undercutting them by supporting illegals, and he got physical, which is why he's being arraigned. This is him in the red shirt.
Why you got the mace and put it on your face?
This is something that people are really mad about, and that's that ICE is wearing masks. And ICE are wearing masks because a lot of them are being doxxed. That's one thing. But they didn't have a problem with masks when it comes to Antifa. They still don't, actually. But they didn't have a problem with masks when it came to COVID. Even didn't matter if it was large gatherings. But now all of a sudden, when law enforcement wears masks, they have a problem with it. So they're really triggered over this. Well, how can you identify yourself? Simple. His jacket says ICE. He's with 10 other people whose jackets say ICE. They have a warrant for one person or two people or however many people's arrest. You can read it. It's pretty interesting to watch. It's here we go. Spare Me Your Ink said that, let's see, Cesaro Chavez was an American labor leader and a civil rights activist, along with Dolores Huerta, lesser-known Gilbert Padilla. He co-founded the National Farm Workers Association. If that's true, why is he advocating for labor that is undercutting the people he's supposed to be representing? I don't know.
I got you on video. This is a targeted arrest. This is a targeted arrest. This is a targeted arrest. Look, you're on his hands.
Targeted arrest.
The gun on his gun.
That's Mr. Huerta. That's the person who Maxine Waters is worried about. This is the person who is undercutting all the people he claims to represent in the city of Los Angeles.
So, Tom, you've been leading these operations. And so instead of criticizing the people that are attacking our agents, you got Gavin Newsom, who has called for you to arrest him, and you got Maxine Waters, who is going after the National Guard. Watch this.
There's a pretty good chance that in the White House there might be a television on and he might be watching us
I hope so.
right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you
He can
say
learn
to
something
him?
about leadership.
I'll give you the floor. You have the opportunity. What you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today?
Just, I mean, where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk.
Trump waited 2 days, and the violence was increasing. But Gavin Newsom is saying that it's immoral and it's wrong, and Trump is creating this. This is all a campaign. This is a campaign. He's starting right now. 4 years ahead, he's starting. He's blaming Donald Trump for the LA riots. It's unbelievable.
This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? And he knows where to find me. But you know what? Lay your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Lay your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years.
That 4-year-old girl's been here 10 years. Leave her alone.
Fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing?
This is the guy who was arresting people for surfing during COVID. This is a guy who was out at a restaurant when he enacted all of these rules, not just 6-foot rules, but rules that you had to be outside in order to eat. And he shut down thousands of businesses in the state of California. This is the guy who cares about his people. Thousands of businesses. While he was out eating with a dozen or 2 dozen friends, no masks, nothing, he was arresting people for going to church. Now look at him. Compassionate. So much compassion.
These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
What are you going to do? You going to shoot some kid? He's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did. The governor was not contacted.
Tom, what's your response?
Well, first of all, it's just ridiculous. That reporter from SMBC,
He's a joke. He's a dishonest reporter. What we discussed was for those protesters that cross the line. I've said it many times. You can protest, you got your First Amendment rights, but when you cross that line, you put hands on an ICE officer, or you destroy property, or I say that you impede law enforcement, or you're knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien. That's a crime. And the Trump administration is not going to tolerate it. You cross that line, we're going to seek prosecution in the Department of Justice. Then the reporter asked me, well, could Governor Newsom or Mayor Bass be arrested? I said, well, no one's above the law. If they cross the line and commit a crime, absolutely they can. So there was no discussion about arresting Newsom. And so, what he's done, he's failed that state. He waited 2 days of that city burning and people getting hurt, officers being assaulted, before he made any declaration of an unlawful assembly.
This was in my opinion, this was a conspiracy. So what Mel's saying here, and what he said here, this is a guy who allowed mass looting in stores to the point where Walgreens, Target, Walmart, and other stores left certain cities. I believe that was intentional. First of all, they hate Walmart in California. I don't know if you know that. It's Walmart is banned in a lot of places in California. I learned that when I moved out there. I was like, what is going on here? They're banned in a lot of places. They hate capitalism, so they don't like Walmart. Even though Walmart would go in and provide hundreds of jobs and create its own mini economy, because Walmarts are rarely just standalone. Usually, you'll get fast food around there because the employees have to eat. You'll get maybe a strip mall to the side of it. You'll get a lot of competition and other businesses that feed off of a place like Walmart. Usually, yes, they shut down mom and pops, but they get bought out. They don't just get shut down for the most part. So they hate Walmart. But opportunity zones was a huge initiative of Donald Trump's first term. I believe the money that was being invested in cities, a lot of cities, what ended up happening was they allowed those riots to scare away those businesses so they can keep them destitute. Conspiracy, I get it. I understand that. But Target, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, a lot of corporations said we can't afford to be here anymore. And then they shut down. And what did those cities do? Chicago did the same thing. They cried about, well, where are we going to get our prescriptions? You should have thought about that when you were letting these white people come in masks and destroy your city. But you didn't care about that. You wanted those people to have fun watching cars burn. And then you lose all the businesses that were promised to you. They were not just promised, they were pledged. They were putting more, they were investing more into your neighborhoods. But you allowed people to destroy just your neighborhoods, which has always interested me. Just your neighborhoods where was designated an opportunity zone. That's fascinating to me that nobody else talks about that, because to me it was clearly what they were trying to do.
Late to the game. President Trump isn't late to the game. Men and women of ICE are not late to the game. And let's make this clear. I keep hearing this term ICE raids, ICE raids. What happened with how this riot started is that ICE was serving a series of criminal warrants at a business being investigated for money laundering, customs fraud, and serious violations on sending money to criminal cartels that in Colombia and Mexico that fund cartel activities in the United States. It's a part of an overall conspiracy that ICE is investigating. So we're arresting bad people. We were enforcing laws and following up on a serious criminal investigation on cartel financing. So that's exactly what ICE did. And ICE took a lot of bad people off the street that day. We arrested a sexual predator, arrested gang members, arrested somebody that had an armed robbery conviction. So we made LA safer. The men and women at ICE, the men and women at Border Patrol made LA safer that day.
These are not a mother with 3 kids who's working, 2 jobs, one picking peaches and one as a bartender overnight, while her poor 3 kids sit at home waiting, taking themselves to school. That's not who they're arresting. They're arresting criminals, known criminals. When we get to that mother, we can talk about that later. But you remember the guy with the MS-13 tattoos on his knuckles? They brought him back. And then they're charging him with all the things they were supposed to charge him with. The reason they didn't charge him with it because they just deported him off to El Salvador, I think it was. El Salvador? Venezuela? Wherever they shipped him off to. to that max prison. So they said, you know what? We'll bring him back. We're just going to charge him with everything we would have charged him with had he been a citizen. And now he's going to be going to prison for that. But the problem is we got to pay for it. So it was easier just to deport him. So now he's being charged with human trafficking. He was trafficking MS-13 members all across this country for a drug cartel. So they brought him back. And now he's going to be put into our system, which I think is absolutely absurd. But I think it's a good example to set.
But you're not hearing any of this. All you hear is a rhetoric about ICE being racist and ICE being Nazis and terrorists. And Governor Newsom feeds that. Just like Hakeem Jeffrey feeds it, that he's going to unmask ICE agents. And the members of Congress who keep feeding this rhetoric, they're the ones that are causing this riot because they don't listen to the truth about what the men and women at ICE are doing. We're keeping our promise to American people to make these streets safe again. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're not going to stop doing it.
That picture.
Yeah. Call you later.
You ever, especially in Arizona, I think it's Paul who's in Arizona. You ever drive and then just a small little pebble hits your windshield and I mean, it's almost immediate. It happens a lot in Phoenix. It's just dry and there's, I don't know. It happened to me more there than anywhere else. These people are throwing bricks, like rocks the size of palms. I would almost rather be shot at than have a brick hit my windshield while I'm driving, whether it be 20 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour, and then out of nowhere, a brick hits my window. This is extremely dangerous. I don't know how it's not a felony. I don't know how it's not attempted murder. What else could your motivation be to throw a brick off of a bridge to hit a moving vehicle that's coming this direction, coming towards you? It doesn't get much more dangerous than that. Where are they getting all these rocks? It's been reported that they're breaking up curbs. They're hammering curbs and breaking off chunks of concrete and hurling it at cars. This is peaceful to them. Look at how many people are on this bridge and waiting on the side of the bridge to throw bricks at police. Remember January 6th? I don't even have to go into that. Was January 6th just at the Capitol building? Or was it all over a city? How many fires were set? How many police were injured? How many police vehicles were destroyed? There's nothing more dangerous than what these people are doing. Unless you're at ground level looking at them, shooting at them. It's the only thing that's more dangerous than what these people are doing. By the way, those are state vehicles. So who pays for that? California. Peaceful bricks. Those are peaceful bricks. It's unbelievable. Look at them. They're breaking apart curbs. How is what he's doing not a felony? He's pitching bricks at moving vehicles. Because they're moving toward him, that doubles the speed that the bricks are being thrown, like the contact. I don't understand how this is not like this guy should be in prison. This is attempted murder. What if you succeed at what you're trying to do? That one car was not a police car. I mean, not that it's better to throw at police cars. So there's no, you can't say, well, he's protesting. He just threw it at a regular car that's just driving past. They don't care. This has nothing to do with peace. It's the exact opposite. This is total anarchy. Where is he getting all these bricks? Those ones in the ground right there, they're mortared in. He's not throwing those. What are there, pallets of bricks now? Those are regular cars. Get him. Get him, get him, get him. This is not protesting. This is riots. This is not protesting. You don't do, these people are aiming indiscriminately at any car that's driving past and just throwing bricks at it as hard as they can. I don't know where they're getting all these bricks. I really want to know that.
Holy fuck!
Get him. By the way, that is a federal building they're attacking. Just saying.
This is now standard. We talked about this yesterday. This is now standard on the hardcore left. And the Democratic Party, I know they've done a lot of sort of fake introspection over the last couple of months after losing an election, saying, oh, maybe we need to pivot and be more sensible. But when the stuff hits the fan and elements of their political coalition right here do things like this, they are just frozen in place, stammering about how it's Donald Trump's fault, and too craven and cowardly and weak to actually lead.
Yeah, and you look, Lydia, at what we're seeing from up above, and this crowd, it seems like the number has just been growing, right? Mm-hmm. And now it looks like they're getting in the way of traffic here. This gets so dangerous. It's
what they always do.
It's what they always do, and they're getting there right. Yep, they're right there, stopping traffic. This becomes a danger in a whole other way, because when you have people who are trying to get somewhere, you don't know who's in that car or where they're trying to get. They could be trying to get home to their kid who's got a babysitter or waiting for them. You could have people there trying to get to the hospital. You could have a medical emergency. You literally don't know. And they obviously, Lydia, don't care.
Or you can have someone in a car who is terrified for their life and they hit the gas. That's all it takes. And then what'll happen? The media will scream, oh my God, that person just ran somebody over. No. They're on a freeway. They're not supposed to be up there. They're not supposed to be up there. They have no business on. They're in the middle of a freeway. The one place no human being should be walking is in the middle of a freeway. This makes no sense. But the bad person is the one who hits somebody.
I think that this is the Highway 101 through LA, which is a major freeway through the city. I think the strategy there is just to create as much obstruction as possible, because they think the louder and the more obnoxious and the more disruption they are able to achieve, the more their message is received, when in reality, I think they just earn themselves a lot of enemies, people that do not support their cause of attacking ICE and also disrupting their way to and from on a Sunday afternoon as they're trying to go about their business and their lives. But one has to wonder, Alicia, to your point, we have seen with our own eyes, watching day 3 of the riots, these crowds grow around this federal building throughout the day, hour by hour. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Is that because they are heeding the words of Congresswoman Maxine Waters to continue to push back against ICE?
So I don't agree with that. I don't agree that she should be doing it, fanning the flames, and because they blame Donald Trump for doing it, for some reason it's different when they do it. I don't believe people are going out there because Maxine Waters said anything. I believe they're going out there because they want anarchy. They don't want ICE. They hate ICE. They hate all things capitalism. And I just don't like the rhetoric of blaming a public official, unless the public official is allowing this to happen. But the words are just words to me. They mean nothing. What's going on, G. Will?
What's going on? Oh, chat. What's happening, y'all?
None much, man.
Oh,
Yep.
Cool. I just came up because one of the buildings down there that they are destroying on the outside, they can't get on the inside, is the Hall of Justice. And my business partner, Jennifer, that's where she works. She's the chief of finance for the sheriff's department. So, Monday they told them not to come to work. They could work from home. Yesterday, I believe, or no, today, I think she went down there, but they're super protected getting in and out of there. And I think they have to leave a little bit later when the crowds kind of, go away a little bit. So, this is ridiculous. I understand you want to protest. I understand you disagree with certain things. I'm not the person that is going to get on here and be like, we shouldn't protest, you guys. No, if you protest peacefully, I'm cool with it. But when you start destroying stuff, you start creating, this is my biggest problem, is not only are they creating a tax problem for the United States, a debt problem for the United States just by being here, now they're creating a bigger tax problem, a bigger debt problem by everything that they're destroying. And I'm not even taking, I have a $60,000 order right now that I can't get down to downtown LA for delivery because of this stupidity.
What Mel said is correct. It has nothing to do with Maxine Waters, but this is an opportunity to be part of destruction. And there is looting going on, Miss Phoenix. We're almost to that part.
Yeah, they're doing a little too much.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and play the video. I was just saying they're doing I said a little too much, but they're doing a lot of too much. And me, I'm like, at this point, when does martial law come in place, or when does the firing squads just start taking off on people because they throwing bricks at?
They're throwing Molotov cocktails, bricks at human beings, as if that can't kill somebody. That's deadly.
At the Hall of Justice, that's what I was going to tell you. At the Hall of Justice, on I believe it was Friday last week, they were throwing acid in sheriffs' faces. They're throwing acid in sheriffs' faces, throwing things to burn their face up. Sheriffs that aren't even out there messing with people. They're coming out of the Hall of Justice and they're running up to them, throwing acid in their faces. You know, what we have to realize is that even though, you know, we all know there are some pretty bad cops that are out here, my experience has only been great with them. That's not everybody's story. I understand that, and I'm not going to discredit anybody's story. But these people, they go to work and they just want to go home. And when they can't go to work because people can't peacefully protest and they want to throw acid in their face, which they can lose their vision or they can lose skin cells, they can die. You know, I'm like, all right, you know, just line them up, let it go.
Even if 50% of the cops were bad, that doesn't mean you just randomly attack police. Like what they're doing, it does not make sense. There's no justification for it. They don't know the cop. So throwing stuff at them, trying to hit them with a brick, throwing them at their heads, like that's attempted murder. And hopefully they are able to prosecute federally and Pam Bondi actually starts locking people up. Somebody said earlier, this is in part that she's not locking people up. They brought charges against judges. That's awesome. But when you see stuff like this, they need to start putting people in prison and making examples out of them. Otherwise, this will never stop.
In the federal and Trump's agenda.
She literally asked for this.
Yes.
She wants this.
She said, yeah, she said they have to push back more.
So let me get this straight, just so I could clarify it. You don't want to go back to Mexico. You're protesting to stay away from Mexico. But you're waving the Mexican flag and you're waving it with pride. You're waving it in the United States, the country you're trying to stay in, the country you don't want to leave. But yet you're waving the Mexican flag with pride. Okay. That seems normal to you? That seems logical? That's not stupid at all? None of that's stupid. All right. You guys are an embarrassment to the Mexican culture and to the United States culture. You guys are an embarrassment to everybody around you, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Do better.
We don't agree with the term illegal. We're undocumented. We've been here for thousands of years before you guys showed up, screwed up everything. We think we should organize.
Before we showed up and screwed up everything. He needs to be deported like yesterday. Right after this, he should have been grabbed and deported. This person's anti-American.
Together with the U.S. working class and fight together and create a better system. We're anti-capitalist. We think socialism does work, real socialism.
So he said he wants to get together with the working class, but he's anti-capitalist. He has no idea what he's saying. He's just saying stuff that he heard and it sounded good. We want to get together with working class, but we're anti-capitalist.
Isn't Mexico a socialist country?
Absolutely.
And take your ass back to Mexico, homie. Since you think it works so much.
They need to find out who this guy is and deport him. Just based off of what he's saying.
Screw up everything. We think we should organize together with the U.S. working class and fight together and create a better system. We're anti-capitalist. We think socialism does work, real socialism, not Venezuela, not Cuba, not any of that crap that they try to sell us as socialism. And we believe it would be a more humane system that will take care of most of all people's necessities.
Is there a country we can look to kind of model the socialism idea?
The only model would be Soviet Union the first 4 years.
I know Mel's a history teacher.
What the entire F? Come on, man.
I guarantee you Mel looked like, what did he just say? The first 4 years of the Soviet Union is his example of great socialism.
After that, it became a mess. Sadly, there was a bureaucrat leadership that grew out of that, but it has to do mainly with the attacks of the U.S. and all big powers against that system that was working. In the few years that it lasted, it showed the world that it could do much better than capitalism. We support.
This is exactly true. The goal of socialism is communism. It's government control. I don't know what this guy's talking about. They always say this. Yeah, socialism works if you do it right. But no one's ever been able to do it right. But this guy right here, this illegal alien, he knows. He's got the key.
For Palestine, 100%. We do not believe that the state of Israel should exist because it's a military enclave of the corporations and mainly U.S. and European powers. It's sad that Jewish people have Zionism as their leaders. I think they should get rid of them. And everyone should return to wherever they're from. They're stealing their land, just like the
irony. The irony that he's saying they need to send them back to where they come from. Everybody needs to go back where you come from. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love listening to stupid people talk and people who don't know what they're saying, don't understand what they're saying.
U.S. stole the land from Mexico and indigenous people here, so that's why we support Palestine.
I think his
So the guy who's against all these other countries existing wants to reinstitute what happened in Mexico here. Just do it right. Do it the right way. That dude is a mess. This is Trump. This is Trump talking about Newsom. He's always going to be great.
Primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job. What he's done to that state is like what Biden did to this country. And that's pretty bad. It's a wrong philosophy. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants, many of them prisoners. They're taking up your health care. They're taking up your space in schools. They're taking up your hospital. And in many cases, they're criminals.
These are people that are part of Los Angeles and families that are being broken apart. You know, California is home to an estimated 10 million undocumented immigrants, and about a third of those are here
in Los Angeles
County.
So by that liberal newscasters, by her statistics, she believes there's 10 million illegals in the state of California, and a third of them are in LA County alone. More reason to send ICE there. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Pretty bad.
That's a different question, but I just want to just state for the record that what did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot that went all across the city of Los Angeles.
So what she's talking about was George Bush Sr. declaring state of emergency and sending in the National Guard to California during the Rodney King riots. I would not put this on par with the Rodney King riots, but when you have people throwing bricks at other human beings' heads, you can't dismiss it. You can't.
After a verdict in the Rodney King case, this is a situation where the LA County police,
Dana,
it's not good, but they're saying that they have it under control, and the president is sending national troops,
Dana,
federal
you and
troops,
I can
in a
look
way
at this,
that
we can look at
hasn't
this
been
and
done
we
in
can
a long
obviously
time.
see that it is not under control. It's not under control. You and I both can see that. It's not under control. And a riot is a riot. They're throwing.
If a fire truck can't get to burning vehicles in the middle of the street, it's not under control. That's it. I mean, that's a pretty simple standard. If police can't drive around without getting bricks thrown at them and having the cars destroyed and people trying to open the door to do whatever they think they're going to do to the police, it's not under control. Pretty simple.
They're throwing all types of objects at law enforcement, and the president is absolutely right.
There we go.
Watch out, nigga. You gonna be sucked up. Watch out. Watch out.
It's hard to watch.
This is why guns are necessary.
This is absolutely why guns are necessary. This guy's got a broom. What do? You think those people would be doing that right now if he had a shotgun? You think they'd be that willing to risk it like this over some lighters and a couple $100 in a register? Listen to what they say. This is the most important.
Watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh, you sucked her in the face.
Sucked her in the face.
Hey, throw a trash can at him.
Throw a garbage can at him. Someone's coming up behind him right now. Let's knock him out. Or knock him down.
Y'all niggas sneaky. Y'all niggas sneaky. Bro need to give up. That's so sneaky.
You hear what he said? You need to give up. Just let us do what we're going to do. This was the day before yesterday.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours. Donald Trump! Fascism! Let our people free!
People are crazy.
What's the windblower for?
Just for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you have a fucking blower, bring it out! Push them back! We will not do 1992 again with your fucking tanks! I was 12 then! I'm 44 now! I will die for my fucking kids! And all of these young people are here are my fucking kids! Because I'm an LA native mom! These are my fucking children you're fighting! You! Major Bass, if you can hear me, expect me in your office on Monday for attacking my children!
If you could say something to Donald Trump right now, what would you say?
Donald Trump, you can suck my left nut, you can get out of my drawer. You're just Mecca Salma Hayek wouldn't give you the time of day, and because Claudia Sheinbaum make you look like a loser.
What is the reality? These people are insane. Like certifiably insane. That lady is not normal. Something's wrong with her.
Reality of ICE. What is the reality of the criticisms? What does this situation mean to what's going to happen next? I want to bring in the man that President Trump has designated to do the job. White House border czar Tom Homan. Tom, I know they're running you ragged, and I appreciate you taking the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, look, I've been listening to your last two segments. You got a pretty good show going, so very interesting. I'm glad I got in here early.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate you finally watched the damn show. So let me ask you this: let's deal with the politics quick, so we can get to the policy. Governor Newsom, instead of controlling the streets, is trying to control the narrative here in a way by saying they're going to come arrest me. They're going to come take me. That's what's going to happen. What would that be about? Is that even something that would be considered?
No, this has been blown so far out of proportion, Chris. So I was interviewed by an NBC reporter. And we were talking about the protesters. And I said, look, people have the right to protest. They got their First Amendment rights, and I salute them. But they can't cross that line. They can't impede ICE officers. They can't put their hands on them. They can't throw Molotov cocktails. They can't damage government property. They can't cross that line. Because when you cross that line, it's criminal. And when you cross the line, we won't seek prosecution. Then the reporter asked me, well, how about Karen and the Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom? They possibly can be indicted. I said, look, if they cross that line, they commit a crime, of course it can be. Anybody can be. No one's above the law. There is no threat to arrest Governor Newsom, but the statement was made. Just like anybody else. If he crosses that line of impeding ICE enforcement efforts, if he knowingly harbored, conceals an alien, that's a crime. We would ask AG, the Attorney General, to seek prosecution. It wasn't a threat, but my words were taken out of context, but it is what it is. I stand by what I said. No one's above the law. I've heard that for 4 years. President Trump was above the law. No one's above the law. Either is the governor of California.
What do you make of the criticism beyond the spectacle of you want to remove bad guys, that's fine, but you're going into sensitive places, you're breaking up communities, you're going way beyond getting the bad people and you're scaring the good people?
You know, it's just a false narrative. So, like, what started the protests in L.A.? I was there. I went to L.A. Wednesday night to kick off an operation, a surge operation. And the first place we went to, we served 3 criminal search warrants at a business. And they had a couple locations. What was that investigation? It was an investigation concerning money laundering, tax evasion, and customs fraud. We got a company that brought in over $87 million of goods to the United States, underdeclared, and they failed to pay $17 million in tariff taxes. And it's a part of a bigger overarching investigation, how some of this money on these companies is being funneled to Mexico and Colombia to fund cartel activity. So we served criminal arrest warrants, and when we went in there to arrest them, we arrested 40 illegal aliens that worked for this company. And the same day, we had teams out in the street. We arrested a Vietnamese national that murdered 2 young teenagers at a graduation party. We arrested several child sexual predators. We arrested someone that was convicted of rape. We arrested someone that was domestic violence 3 times over again. We arrested an illegal alien who was convicted of unlawful penetration of a foreign object, which I didn't even dig into that case. But we took a lot of bad people off the street that day. But when the protesters came, they're thinking, okay, this is another enforcement operation. They didn't ask the details of the operation. We tried to put the information out, but it wasn't covered. So in the middle of that search warrant, protesters started coming. Then they blocked the agents from leaving safely with the people we had in our custody and the evidence we had in the custody. And of course, the mayor, Bass, told, and we called for assistance because now it's becoming a public safety issue. And Mayor Bass told him to stand down. So look, after 2 days of the violence occurring in L.A., President Trump, I think, made the right move. He called in the National Guard to protect government property, government officers, and public safety. And that's what he did, and I applaud him for it.
What do you think the message is of the protests?
Protest. That's your First Amendment right. Show your signs, yell and scream all you want, and give your opinion about ICE operations. But keep it peaceful. I mean,
I'm with you about that, Tom, but what do you think of their message when it is peaceful, that you guys at ICE are being asked to do too much with too many in ways that go too far?
I don't think we're going too far. I think the men and women at ICE are acting very professionally, and they're out there enforcing laws enacted by Congress. If you don't like what ICE does, I tell these people all the time, if they don't like what ICE does, then protest Congress. Because ICE is simply enforcing laws enacted by Congress. And when they go arrest an illegal alien, they're arresting an illegal alien who has a final order issued by a federal judge. And we're executing his orders. That is their job. So go protest Congress. Go protest the immigration courts if you want. But ICE is funded to enforce immigration law. That's what Congress funds us to do. And that's the oath these men and women take. And I want to remind everybody, the ICE officers, they're not terrorists. They're not racist like I see the signs in this protest. They're mothers and fathers, too. They have children. They don't hang their hearts on the hook at home every time they come to work. They see a lot of terrible things. Immigration enforcement has always been controversial. I've been doing it since 1984. It's always been emotional. I get it. But we got a job to do, and we're going to do it. And we're going to do it every day in Los Angeles and every day across this country.
Is this situation going to change anything with ICE? Any kind of reconsideration, any kind of slowdown until this clears?
No. We got over 100 teams out there today. We have over 100 teams tomorrow. We're going to do this every day across this nation. We got a job to do, and we're going to do it. You can protest, but I'm asking, look, I go to bed every night, and this is the honest truth. I pray for the safety of the men and women of ICE and the other agencies who are helping us. I also pray for the safety of the protesters. Protest, that's your amendment right. Call your congressman, call your senator, raise hell, but do not put hands on an ICE officer. Do not throw Molotov cocktails like they've done. Don't burn vehicles and buildings that you paid for. The taxpayers paid for all this stuff. Don't destroy what the taxpayers paid for. You can protest the right way. And look, there's a method to get your message out. Just do it legally.
You don't like the phrase immigration raids. And I was thinking about what this means and why you don't like it. And I get why you don't like it, because it's not about immigrants, it's about people who are here illegally, and you see a distinction. But what does it mean to you that that distinction has been lost? That people believe that it is just a demonizing of the other, of people who somehow don't belong here the way
Intentional. It's
certain
very
people want to
intentional.
define it.
Well, I don't like the term raid because when we go out there, it's a targeted enforcement operation. We know who we're looking for, and we have fugitive operations operational sheets at every arrest. You say, here's who I'm going to go arrest, here's where I think I'm going to find him, here's his immigration history, here's his criminal history. We're not going on the streets looking for people different than us. We're targeted enforcement operations. I don't like the word raid. And look, this is a country rich in immigrants. Immigrants built this country. We're looking for people that enter this country illegally, which is a crime. They've had the due process. We got 1.4 million illegal aliens in this country who had due process at great taxpayer expense. They didn't order removed. So a judge issued an order. They must leave this country.
And that's who they're targeting first. 1.4 million illegals are here that have already been told they need to go. So now when ICE comes and picks them up to go, you have people protesting it, talking about due process. I talked about this on my last live. What do you mean due process? That makes no sense. They've already gotten it. The judges said you have to leave, and they won't leave. So when they get forced out, somehow, America's bad Donald Trump.
And unless we do that, then we send a message to the whole world. Keep coming. Keep putting yourselves in harm's way. Keep the sex trafficking going. Keep the drug trafficking going because you're overwhelming the Border Patrol. There has to be consequences for, violating our laws. But again, I go back to Congress. If they can fix the system, fix the system. But we got to enforce the law. There has to be consequences for violating our laws. And that's what ICE is simply doing.
Yeah, the one thing that I do feel is patently unfair about all of this is I don't think it's fair to blame ICE as an agency. I do think it's fair to blame Congress because they put you guys in an impossible position. You are trying to enforce your way through a system that is unsustainable. They don't give you the resources. They haven't given you the rule changes. They haven't given you the ability to adjudicate so you can affect due process in any kind of way that's expeditious. And I believe it's because they like the problem better than a solution, and they've laid it at your feet.
And I already played this. I already played that, so that's all I really have. I just think I don't think it's about Trump. I think it kind of is about Trump, I guess. They're still throwing a fit because they lost so badly. The problem is they're doubling down on the things that America stood up against. And that's what they're rallying around. And it's a huge mistake.
Oh, everything they do is against Trump. Everything. He's the bad man that is the problem of everything. America needs a reality check, and all these little temper tantrums that are allowed to be had need to be put in check, because you can't throw stuff at people's cars and you can't destroy other people's property. First, we're destroying Teslas because we don't like Elon. Now we're destroying government vehicles and people's personal vehicles because we don't want ICE taking our undocumented family members that had a chance to be documented but chose not to be away.
It's completely unrelated. Like, one has nothing to do with the other.
Completely unrelated. But America's having a temper tantrum because the media has told them to have a temper tantrum, because people like Maxine Waters and AOC and Jasmine Crockett has told them to have a temper tantrum. Be like us, have a temper tantrum. Maxine Waters is the worst. Out of all the people, like Maxine Waters is the absolute worst. I can't stand her.
They keep voting her in, so they get what they deserve. So
listen, I don't vote for her, and I got to deal with her. All right, I don't vote for her, and I got to deal with her. Okay? It's just like I always tell people, in the little area that I live in, we pay the highest sales tax in the United States because these dummies voted for the highest sales tax in the United States. And they complain about prices here, gas prices. Trump said gas prices are coming down. Trump said this. Trump said grocery prices are coming down. I said they all are coming down. You know why you don't see them? Because you're dumb butt voted for 11.25% sales tax. That's why. you're not seeing it. So yeah, exactly. So
11% sales tax.
11.25% sales tax. So it's just, I think they vote for stuff so they can have a temper tantrum. About it's be a victim, not a victor, and that's the world we live in. Is we're in a world full of victims right now, and it's unfortunate. And I hope people are like me and raise their kids to be victorious and not be victims. And when you make a mistake, you don't wallow in it. You learn from it. You move forward. So it's crazy. But what I was going to tell you is you showed the video of the guy throwing the rocks at all the cars, right? The big, huge boulders, all the cars.
I heard they found out who he is.
Yeah, they found out who he is. They have there's pictures all over. Somebody snitched on him, so his pictures all over social media right now. So even though you're hiding your face because you're a coward, you want to do it. You want to do all this destruction, but you want to be a coward about doing it. Your people have turned you in, you dummy. So
I saw Pam Bondi was talking about. She said she's going to be prosecuting. I just need to see these prosecutions because
me too. Pam Bondi says a whole lot.
Locked anyone up yet? And I'm like, what are we doing here? Come on, man.
Pam Bondi says a lot. She just don't do a lot.
Not yet, and it hasn't been that long. But when you go in knowing certain things, especially when you're around COVID and all that, you have the information. Do something about it.
Right.
I don't know. Cash Patel's another one. He's really frustrating me because it's the same thing. Oh, I'm exposing this. I'm exposing this. Okay, how are you exposing it? I may go over that. He did an interview with Joe Rogan. He was like, "Well, I'm giving all this stuff to Congress." And it's like, "Okay, just put online. Just give it to us."
That's how you
give
get it
to Congress.
Right.
You give it to the least popular human beings in the country's history, and you think that that's exposing somebody? Like, why wouldn't they cover it up? I mean, and he said that about several things. I'm like, him and Bongino and Pam Bondi are they're talking about exposing stuff. I don't want any exposure. I want them arrested.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Is you want
there has to be consequences. Yeah, there has to be consequences.
There's no consequences.
I exposed it. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. They say nobody's above the law, but I believe only Trump's not above the law. They'll continue to charge him with the dumbest stuff, and while they want to get away with everything,
crimes against humanity, like literally crimes against humanity. Right. They're just walking free and nothing's happening. I don't understand that. Hey, you talked about statute of limitations. Maybe one of these Congress people, whether it's in the House or in the Senate, need to start figuring out ways to try people on treason that don't have a statute of limitation. Because you can't tell me that somebody literally plotted against the president of the United States. And this is what Cash Patel said on that Joe Rogan interview. Again, I may just I've never done one on a Joe Rogan podcast, so I don't know if I'll get a copyright for it. But he said that he has all this proof that people plotted against the president of the United States. How is that not treason? How is that not how do you have a statute of limitations? And that was his response when Rogan's like, okay, so how come they're not in jail? Well, a lot of these crimes have a 5-year statute. Like, why? Treason? You have former heads of the CIA, former heads of the FBI who literally tried to overturn the government.
Right.
Yeah. 5-year statute of limitations? I don't believe that. That doesn't sound right. And if it is right, they need to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it's excuses, and I believe that the reason why they don't do it is because names that are allies or names that they don't want to come out, they got to protect them, and it shouldn't be that way. Yeah, shouldn't be that way.
Even with the Epstein list, he kept saying, I'm going to release everything I can. What do you mean everything you can? The guy's dead. He's not going to get prosecuted anymore. Release the list unredacted. What are we doing here? You're protecting people who are on it. I don't care who's on it. I don't care if Trump's on it. This makes no sense to me to keep saying we're exposing this and we're exposing that, but no one is getting actual accountability.
Yeah. The world, it's the world we live in, because politics, no matter what we want, no matter what we vote for, is going to politic, my friend. And that's the problem that we have in the United States. Is politics is going to politic, and they're going to take care of their people because at the end of the day, they all need money.
Yeah.
They all need money, and as long as the money's flowing, they're gonna protect them.
Yeah, and Paul, I don't think he cares either because I think it was Epstein's defense attorney said Trump had nothing to do with anything. So, but there's got to be people on that list who they do care about being exposed. I don't care. This is not how a democratic republic should be operated on secrecy. We have a right to know. They're there representing the people. Gee, will just fell off. I'm about to end it anyway. We need this information, and I'm sick of hearing what they're going to expose and when it's going to come. It's time. It's been time. It's been time in the last 4 years. So now that we got people in who say that they're going to do this, that, and the other, they need to do this, that, and the other. That's all I really have for you guys. I appreciate you all. These riots are exactly that. They're not peaceful protests. I wasn't trying to clickbait you guys. I said peaceful protesters continue to riot across Los Angeles. So there was sarcasm there, but this is not right. What's happening is not right. It's all political, and there's got to be, at some point, there has to be accountability. See you later, Jason. Thank you for stopping by, man. There's got to be accountability because without it, it's all talk. And if there were ever going to be an administration to actually do anything about the swamp, this is it. And if they don't do it, I don't think there's any hope of ever draining the swamp. And it's driving me crazy, especially with stuff like the Epstein, especially with stuff like COVID. Like, you have crimes that we know were committed. Why aren't people being arrested? Like, there's not even people being fired. It's wild to me. But with that said, I am O Speaks. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, share. I appreciate everyone who was in here. Jason with a carrot, Paul Thomas, G Will, of course, for coming up, hitting the link. Taryn the Black, spare me your angst over on Rumble. Uncle L, appreciate you, sir. Miss Phoenix Rising, thank you for stopping in. Keep the Change was in here. Awesome seeing her again. Mel Dub, thank you, sir. I think I already said Mel Dub. Miss Just J was in here. Thank you very much. Mike Levin was in here. I already said G Will. There's a lot of people in here. This was a good live. I think it was a good live. I think with the military coming in and the Marines, it's going to start dying down. That doesn't mean they're going to stop, but it's going to die down and it's going to kind of die out as people get fatigue with it. But people of LA need to be fatigued. I think I already said Mike Levin. Miss Just J, thank you so much as always for coming in here. Clara Booker was in here. Awesome. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you. Thank you. I believe that is everyone. I always say that. Miss Akimi. Lovely Miss Akimi. Thank you so much for stopping by as always as well. I don't like what's happening with our government. I can criticize Trump. I don't like where we are right now. And I think not that they need to do more, they just need to prioritize things. While I appreciate what they're saying they're going to do, I need to see it. Miss Trace Spectors was in here also. Thank you so much. I need to see it. I don't want to hear it anymore. True Essence was in here. Thank you, young lady. Appreciate you as always. I don't need to hear we're going to expose this. I don't care if you expose anything. I want you to arrest the people who commit crimes, especially ones who commit crimes against United States citizens. Flying Low was in here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Kiss My Cheeks was in here. Thank you. Appreciate you as well. Everyone who came in here, I appreciate you guys. With that said, I believe I am at the top of the list. I am. All of you guys, I appreciate you. Thank you again. O Speaks, and